Well, hi, my name is Anthony Inoy. I work with Winnebago. I manage the compact coach product up in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to talk about the Winnebago Revel. We've been doing a lot of R&D and going to events like the Outdoor Retailer Show in Utah, or going to the Sea Otter Classic down in California. And what we found is that there's this whole different group of people that are interested in the outdoor lifestyle but aren't interested in your traditional RV, meaning they don't want to have the traditional shower and the bathroom and all of those things. Rather, what they want to do is they want to get off the beaten path and they want to enjoy this beautiful country that is our backyard. And so this is the tool to get that person out there. And so I'll start with a little bit of the platform. We built it on the Mercedes 4x4 chassis. This is the Sprinter chassis. There's really not another alternative, not a lot of competitors that build a 4x4 right now. And there's a couple things that we take into mind when building this. First of all, Mercedes is a great partner. As you can imagine, what stands behind that emblem is just a great manufacturer and someone who takes a lot of pride in their product and cares about their customers. And that's what we needed as Winnebago. So we have this 4x4 chassis. They wanted to build it on a shorter chassis. We have a 170-inch wheelbase that's available in some of our other products, but with this, we wanted to have the clearance. And so you have 11 inches of ground clearance from the very center of this coach here. And then being the shorter wheelbase, that just allows you a little more flexibility. You're not going to go rock climbing, but this will get you off the beaten path. Now on this Mercedes Sprinter chassis, it's a V6 3.0. It has 188 horsepower and 325 foot-pounds of torque. So it's really powerful enough to get you where you need to go. It is a diesel platform, and so we are using a DEF fluid. Now the DEF just goes right here. You have a 3¼ gallon tank of DEF fluid. A lot of people get intimidated by that, but in the United States, since 2010, you really have had to use, it's been an EPA regulation, the DEF fluid. But that is one of the things that allows us to get a little more horsepower out of this engine, get a little more performance out of it. So each gallon of DEF, it's sort of like your fuel economy, right? It just depends on how you're driving it. It depends on how you're using it. But you can sort of say that you'll get around 1,000 miles per gallon of DEF, okay? Then when I come over to this side here, your chassis battery is not actually going to be under the hood here, but there is a little extra space for those customers that want to put an extra chassis battery, want to put an extra AGM battery. But if you need to jump it, you have your negative cable right here and your positive cable right here. This is also a really intelligent chassis. So what I mean by that is it has things, for example, like Crosswind Assist. Now I'll give you a little example. I was driving along the Columbia River Gorge and we had winds at a steady 25 miles per hour. But we had gusts at about 50. Now what this does, it has a computer system, a brain that will work with the power steering, and it'll also work with each independent ABS brake. So it has a yaw sensor. It'll detect when the vehicle starts to move a little bit off center, when it's taking a big gust, and what it'll do is it'll apply the ABS brake to each independent wheel. It allows it to function and control the movement of the chassis. Basically keeps you from losing control, skidding out, things like that. So when I was driving on the Columbia River Gorge, for example, I got a 50-mile-an-hour gust, and I could hear just this one wheel right here chirp and kind of straighten me out, and that was pretty neat. I saw a lot of semis, a lot of trucks around me that were really kind of being blown around, and I didn't have that problem. It's also got load adaptive ESP, which basically works on the same premise. It works with the power steering and also works with the analog brakes to make sure that you don't skid out. These tires here, I talked a lot about the voice of the customer and how important that is to us. The people that are using this, it's not your traditional RVer again. A lot of times called overlanders, people that want to drive long distances and get to out-of-the-way locations. So you need two things. You need a tire with good grip. So this is our optional tire. It's the BF Goodwrench all-terrain tire. And one of the good things about it is it has good grip, but when you're on the freeway driving for long distances, it's not going to give you that hum that sometimes those more knobby tires will have. It's a good performance tire. This is our optional wheel, so it's a 17-inch wheel. And then on your standard wheel, you're just going to get the Mercedes Sprinter wheel and tire. It's just a 16-inch wheel. This right here is something that Winnebago does. We actually tooled this flare out here. This is what allows us to have this coach. It's a small detail, but what you want is a 143-inch wheelbase and the ability to sleep in it. And believe it or not, that's harder than you would think to get. This is what makes this coach. Now this is not an RV, it's a 4x4 gear hauler. And so what we have here is a ton of storage. And then as you can see, this mechanism works really well. We bring in this mechanism from Italy. Now in Europe, they build a lot more compact coaches than we do in North America. And so if we find someone that builds a really good mechanism like this, we're more than happy to use it. The best thing about this right here is that it's 79 inches from one end to the other. So that's 6'7". So I'm 5'10", and you can see I have more than enough space. So we do have quite a number of customers that are 6'3" and find they have more than enough space. 6'6", you're a little tight. And then there's a couple other features that you can use this for here. Some of our customers want to store their bikes under here. So what they ask is, can I sleep on it when it's raised up a little bit? And the answer is yes. This mechanism will hold 500 pounds at any height. The challenge obviously is that you have a little bit of a space here on the end. But what you can do is you can very simply go to a Hobby Lobby location like that, get yourself a foam pad and then just reupholster it. That'll allow you to sleep at a higher height. We have people that in the past were customizing their own coaches. And so you have people with very specific wants and needs that are using this Revel. And what we tell them is that we've just given you the best possible platform, and then you can build on from there. Little things like that, we don't necessarily customize or do anything different, but we welcome you to. A lot of our customers didn't want or feel the need for a shower and a bathroom. So if you want it, you have it here. You have both hot and cold water. You have a toilet here. This is your cassette toilet. So you can see it turns and twists just so that you can make yourself comfortable. You have a little dry storage closet here. But if you want to just use it for a wet storage, if you have muddy shoes, muddy clothes, you want to rinse them off and you want to let them dry in here, then this is sealed bamboo plywood. So very moisture resistant, and so you can leave all of your wet gear in here to dry. When we look underneath the coach, this is one of the neatest things about the coach right here, is the fresh water system. This is a hydronic line. So what that does is it's providing a heated fluid to heat the water supply. Now, as you can see, I have an AC up here, so I can't necessarily get another solar panel up here, but if I were to remove that AC, I could easily get another solar panel. We have 2 ports that are occupied, but again, my charger will manage up to 500 watts, so I could easily put another 200 watts of solar up here and have 400 watts of solar on my roof to constantly feed and charge those batteries here. Now, speaking of the batteries, we have 3 Group 31 AGM batteries, which will give you 315 amp hours. Basically, people in the real world want to know, how much power does that give you? We don't have a generator on this coach. As I mentioned, this is a little bit different style of motorhome. A lot of our customers didn't want the generator. So with 3 Group 31 AGM batteries, we have an induction cooktop. So here's a real world application for you. That induction cooktop is going to draw more energy than anything else on this coach. So what we did was we turned it on, we boiled a big old pot of water, we got it to boiling, we kept it hot for about 7 hours off of 1 battery. So you figure you have 3 of those, you have quite a bit of energy. Now, people who are using a Class B motorhome or an outdoor rig like this typically are going to be very conservative with their energy usage and with their water consumption. 315 amp hours is usually more than enough. But you know, people like to test it, and so we've had people take it out for the weekend, really kind of turn on all the lights, use the hot water, and see how much power it used, and they found that they still got through the weekend pretty well. That has been your Winnebago Revel. Again, ultimately, this is less about buying an RV and more about that off-road experience. When you buy from Winnebago, we know that you could have any partner, but what we want is for you to create lasting memories. And in order to do that, we've tried to think of everything to make you as comfortable as possible on the road, and we want to be that partner with you. Thank you.